MLS Next Pro slate takes us on this Sunday to the entertainment capital of the world, Los Angeles. It's a Western Conference clash filled with plenty of Hollywood drama. LAFC and St. Louis City SC meet for the second time this season. Welcome inside Rollinson Stadium along with our broadcast crew, Jake Griffith. Pleasure to have you alongside us. Well, LAFC, they are rolling, and their ascension up the Western Conference table has been keyed to their best start since 2024 through 11 matches. They've also won 4 consecutive at home in this venue since falling in their home opener against Portland Timbers 2. Conversely, St. Louis, they're coming in on the heels of back-to-back losses, winless in 3 straight, but they are unbeaten all-time against LAFC, who under the direction of manager Fabian Sandoval going with a 4-3-3. They make 6 personnel changes from their El Trapichico win against Ventura County. However, they bring in Jude Terry there on the right side of that midfield. That allows Sebastian Nava to slide over more centrally. And the advantage of the 4-3-3 is that midfield dominance. Sebastian Nava, he is the team's leader in chances created. Did grab a goal against Ventura County last match week. And this will allow him to be more of that creator, playing in that central midfield spot. He can link up play. He can help dictate possession against this St. Louis City side, who under manager David Critchley go to a 4-2-3-1 shape today. They've traditionally gone in the 3-4-3 last match week, going with a back 3, a middle 4, had a single floater midfielder as well, and a front 2. But shifting back to Critchley's original 4-2-3-1 that they went in a season ago, they make 4 personnel changes, and that shift to the back 4 is so crucial because they did give up 4 goals against Austin FC. Prior to that, they gave up 4 goals against Houston Dynamo at home. Critchley and company looking for more defensive solidarity. They're going to get it, especially by having that double pivot in front of the back 4 to help shield that backline unit for St. Louis City, who are trying to get back in the win column for the first time since they upended Ventura County. It's draws against Minnesota United, on the road, a loss at home against Houston Dynamo to end their unbeaten start to the season in terms of St. Louis, and then a loss against Austin FC. David Critchley, he acknowledged it's been a tough last couple weeks for this St. Louis CITY2 side. They do have some injuries. Importantly, Zach Lillington, Cooper Forcellini not available today for this team. They're also a bit short-handed as well. You saw on the lineup graphic a short bench today. The MLS Next Cup is in action. Yu Ota, who had a goal against Austin FC, his first career professional goal, he is not with the team. Stone Marion, who's played some spot minutes, not with St. Louis. As for LAFC and manager Fabian Sandoval, he said this team just continues to get better week after week. He had acknowledged at the start of the season there's a lot of new with this team. It's going to take some time to gel, but they are clicking at the right time heading into the midseason. Christian Campo, clad in yellow, is our center referee. He sounds the whistle. That ball is moving here inside Rollinson Stadium, and that means we are officially underway on this Sunday afternoon in Los Angeles. It's LAFC in the all-black, St. Louis in the all-white, and we have an early whistle. CITY2 will thump that one forward and push it out of play. LAFC, a massive win against their crosstown rivals in Ventura County. Fabian Sandoval said earlier this week when I had a chance to catch up with him that his biggest takeaway, this group is starting to understand. You've got to put a full 90 minutes together in order to get results. He loved the way that even after conceding, they went down a goal in the 20th minute. He said he felt like the team didn't panic. They stayed composed and did such a good job of countering Ventura County's tactical adjustments in that second half. We get a whistle again from Christian Campo. Turnover here, St. Louis having some issues and nodding it along. It's Mahalik, an early save for McPartland. Man goes down in the area. Some protests sounding from these LAFC fans. They had wanted perhaps a handball inside as that defender fell on top of that loose ball in the scrum. Terry will reset things in LAFC, as is traditional under Fabian Sandoval. They will rebuild from the back. It's Whitchurch finding Eric Diaz on this near side. Matt Evans roaming around right now, 70 in black and gold. He and Tommy Mihalik have been the real catalysts for LAFC so far in 2026. They're a top 10 scoring offense, 21 goals netted so far. And between those two men, 10 of those 21. When you add up Matt Evans' 3 assists to that total, those two guys, they've had a hand in 13 of the 21 goals scored. They do such a good job over on that left side of creating those numerical advantages. They keep them stacked with Mihalik on the wing. Underneath him is Evans in that left midfield role. We get another stoppage. LAFC early on off a turnover forced in the defensive half for St. Louis, very nearly going up a goal. It's a good save from McPartland, and you see right there at the end of it, it's Jack Wagner falling on that ball. Had lost his footing. From that angle, hand brushing across the top of that ball. Well, we stay scoreless courtesy of the big save from McPartland, and now it's Sidney Paris trying to carve an opening. He'll lump this in behind, going for goal as Scally came out. And now Ethan Scally, a bit worse for wear. It's a crafty little ball here from Sidney Paris, just into the path of Palmer Alt, who has 9 goal contributions on the season. He's sniffing around that golden boot chase. Comes into this match week 12 weekend tied for 14th most goals of all players in MLS Next Pro. 5 strikes for 42 in white and red. That's cleared out. St. Louis on the heels of a loss on the road against Austin FC, who courtesy of that 4-1 win, leapfrogging St. Louis in the table. Here's a good ball to stretch things out forward. Left off, it's Paris. Paris trying to pick his spot and instead finds Scally, but David Critchley reflecting on that match against Austin FC. He said the St. Louis team, they were too passive, especially in that defensive side in the first half. They defended too deep. They allowed Verdos to control the tempo of that match. In the second half, they switched to a bit of a higher pressing style and shape. Felt like it helped them generate more chances, but just overall, in Critchley's own words, it was a poor performance. But he did like the fact that they kept fighting. They didn't quit on that match. They were able to have the deficit at one point after trailing 2-0 at the halftime break, as that'll go out for an LAFC throw. Already early on in this contest, we are seeing St. Louis in that more aggressive posture in terms of their, not just shape, but their pressing actions. Trying to dictate this tempo a little more coming out of the gates against LAFC. Get another whistle. That time it's Charlie Kosakoff who's impeded and restarted by Jude Terry. It is the second meeting, first since March, between the black and gold of LAFC and St. Louis City 2. It was a 2-2 draw inside Energizer Park in late March. St. Louis went up a goal courtesy of Makai Joyner. It was a second half brace for Tommy Mihalik, the captain, in the span of about 3 minutes in that second half. LAFC, they were able to take advantage of some spacing in behind St. Louis after Makai Joyner was sent off with a second yellow in that second half, as Chris Pearson, captaining St. Louis today, resets that back to McPartland. Brendan McSorley able to snatch a goal at the death at 90+6 to send that to penalties, where St. Louis back in March got the better of LAFC. It'll be a goal kick for Lucas McPartland. It is worth noting that the 2 goal scorers the last time St. Louis saw LAFC, not with this team on the road, the first team in action yesterday against Austin FC in their final MLS fixture before the World Cup break, as this thumped forward to resume play. McSorley and Joyner both on the bench in that 3-0 win against Austin FC. McSorley playing 2 minutes to make his 12th MLS appearance of 2026. Guided inside here. Gabadahan, the 22-year-old, getting his second start of the season in what David Critchley called a massive opportunity for the Missouri native. 7th appearance overall in 2026. Thumped ahead, trying to find Lorenzo Cornelius making his first start of the season. And instead, cleared away. That is where Pearson will track it down. McDonald part of that double pivot this afternoon for David Critchley and company. He'll steer this forward into the path of Paris. Driving back inside, it's Paris, nifty on his feet. His pass deflected, errant clearance though for LA. Stepping through 2 defenders, it's Paris going for goal. It's parried away, and Scally will make the grab. Some traffic in front of Ethan Scally, but his manager Fabian Sandoval earlier this year called him a confident player, his confidence growing each week. And you see some of that confidence there, just muscling Palmer Alt out of the way. It was back in April that Ethan Scally was called to the Japan U19 national team camp. There's a number of international caps under his belt in his career. Los Angeles FC, they'll have the throw over on that far touchline, and our center referee, Christian Campo, having a word over toward that St. Louis technical area. Now we get another stoppage here. You see David Critchley over on that far touchline, asking for an explanation from the 4th official. Nonetheless, play continues on. Mahalik handcuffed by 2 defenders in white, and it's one back by St. Louis. Paris looking to play this into the path of Palmer Alt, and instead Scally will come collect that inside the 18. Well, Fabian Sandoval, his team enters this contest 3 wins on the bounce for LAFC. It's their longest win streak since April through May of 2024, going back over 2 seasons as McPartland has it. And Sandoval said this week that his constant message to this team, just play our way, control what we can control, our effort, taking care of our opportunities, energy always being high. And he feels like those have been the 3 things that they have done very well these last 3 matches. It was a win streak that got kicked off with a win against Vancouver Whitecaps. They took apart Real Monarchs, and then followed that up with a derby win. On to it is Jude Terry. Speaking of that Real Monarchs win, it was Jude Terry who grabbed goal of the week in MLS Next Pro following that match. An absolute banger of a goal. Terry returning to MLS Next Pro and LAFC2 for just the 3rd time in 2026. He was on the bench last week against Nashville, last Sunday, a week ago to be exact, in a 3-2 loss for Marta Santos and LAFC first team. Came on late in that contest, played 2 minutes as a sub. 147 MLS minutes played for Jude Terry in 2026. A bright future in front of the 17-year-old. And there is Terry, able to deflect that clearance away, at least momentarily. Here's Evans on the move. He'll cut it forward, looking for Kosakov on the wrong side of that restraining line, and the flag comes up. This portion of the match is brought to you by BMO, the official bank of LAFC. McPartland able to find that ball forward to Carlock, looking ahead, seeking Riley Lynch, who has 6 goal contributions in his last 6 appearances, 3 goals, 3 assists for the former San Jose Earthquakes 2-man. Eric Diaz will have to retake that throw. Diaz has been an important player along the back line, not just defensively for Fabian Sandoval and company. He makes appearance number 12, start number 8 of the season. He really helps them unlock verticality as well. Team leader in long passes completed per 90 minutes this season. Diaz, though, will get whistled for a foul as he crashes into Riley Lynch. About 15 minutes in. Both teams with a shot, both teams with a shot on target as well. St. Louis trying to break through the zonal defending structure right now of LAFC 2. Diaz had that ball and then it rolls out of play. Back inside Rollinson Stadium, LAFC, St. Louis City SC doing battle in this Western Conference clash. St. Louis earning a corner, their first of the afternoon here in Los Angeles, California. CITY2, they have been dangerous on set pieces this year. 3 corner goals. They go the short route in over to Pearson. Funneled back down, seeking Palmer Alt, and it's consecutive corners now for CITY2, as Alt will do the honors from the far corner flag. St. Louis, as a team, second most set-piece goals scored in MLS Next Pro this season. I remember talking to David Critchley last year, and he talked about the importance of being a good set-piece team, reiterated some of those sentiments in an earlier conversation this season. As Alt will go line drive, it slips through via Paris and headed away by Sebastian Nava. Out for a CITY2 throw-in. It was the early chance for LAFC 2. off the boots of Tommy Mahalik that was parried aside by Lucas McPartland. That occurred 3 minutes into this contest, but over these last 5 minutes, it's been some one-way traffic. City 2 starting to develop some synergy in this end. Paris peels it back, whips this in, turned away. It'll fall all the way through, and that is where Andrew DeGans will get whistled for a foul. When chatting with this LAFC2 managerial staff earlier in the week, one thing that Fabian Sandoval had mentioned, he reflected back on the last time they saw St. Louis, and he said, for starters, we are a much different group than what we were in March. Feels like they are vastly improved. The results and the recent form back that feeling up. But he emphasized to his team in training this week that it's important for LAFC today to continue to be defensively aware of St. Louis, their ability to be varied in how they build. Here they are building now. This curler going for that far corner and sailing significantly wide. So far for St. Louis, most of their opportunities have been generated, yes, on the right-hand side of this attack. It's been a strength this year for City 2, but they're also doing a good job of getting into the final third. Already 7 touches in the penalty area of LAFC2. Who's under some duress right now, trying to break this press down of St. Louis, and they do successfully. Early ball flung forward. McPartland caught in no man's land. City 2 able to finally clear those lines. It's headed down. Now Cornelius gonna whip this in behind. Spun over, here's Alt. Still Palmer, Alt splitting 2, Alt is in! Palmer Alt, a man on fire and a man well in form. It's goal 6 on the year and goal 1 on the day for City 2. They lead. David Critchley, his manager, says these are situations that separate Palmer Alt from other players at this level. The individual quality to just take it on himself and slot it past Ethan Scally. You go back to the start of the year, and David Critchley had talked about how excited he was to bring Palmer Alt into the fold of this organization. Says he has never wasted energy in his movements. He makes great runs in behind, knows when to make those runs. Those timing of movements have been a big point of emphasis in how they can help him grow as a player. And he continues to grow week in and week out. 10 goal contributions on the year for Palmer Alt. Mahalik whistled for the infraction. That sent Sidney Paris down. Good find in the half space. Head of steam here. Palmer Alt. He'll lay it off. Gabadahan. City 2, they've had success circulating this ball around so far through these first 21 minutes. Now they'll funnel it back wide. Near side, it's Sidney Paris again. Paris, the former Wake Forest Demon Deacon, spent 3 seasons collegiately there with Bobby Muse and company at the NCAA Division I level. Pearson resets things to McPartland, who swings it ahead. Knotted back down by LAFC2. Gabadahan going to ground, couldn't hang on to it. turned forward. Here's Evans as LAFC transition ahead. In behind is Mahalik. The flag will come up as McPartland slides it away. This portion of the match is presented by DoorDash, exclusive on-demand delivery partner of LAFC. There was also a whistle behind the play from Christian Campo, and a free kick awarded to the black and gold, who resume things. Going back to that recent matchup between CITY2 and LAFC2, Fabian Sandoval did say on that subject of ball circulation that he did like the way his team cycled the ball around, recycled their runs. He felt like that patience made them more dangerous against CITY2, especially in that second half. CITY2 will have a throw in here. Lynch muscled down by Mahalik from behind. That'll be another whistle. Protests from LAFC's captain go unheard. It's not just these organizations' second teams in action today in MLS Next Pro. Their academy system's also in action in the MLS Next Cup, which for the U19 age grouping getting underway later today. LAFC U19s, they won Group S at the Next Flex event. Finished 2-0-1 overall, 8 points to top the group to help them qualify for the MLS Next Cup. They will take on Baltimore Armor later today, 5 p.m. in the first round qualifier. They win that, they get the winner of Weston NYCFC U19s. St. Louis City, similar situation for their U19s, which is why they don't have the services of players like Ota and Stone Marion today. Their U19 side in action against New England Revolution later today, 5 p.m. They would get the winner of Austin FC Cedar Stars. And David Critchley, as official says, no foul given. He talked about that lack of player availability rather earlier in the week, but he also took a positive spin on it, and he said, look, as coaches, we get a chance to see if some of these younger players are being good academy players, taking their experience that they've gained and garnered here at MLS Next Pro and bringing it to that academy level. Diaz plays it diagonally. There, Diaz will get it back. Trying to steer clear of Patrick McDonald. Successful there. His pass was telegraphed, though. One back by Evans. Terry trying to spring them free into Kosakov. Muscled off the ball at the last moment. It'll stay here. A corner coming for LAFC. It was all set up initially by Evans, getting stuck in, winning that ball back. Terry, good find forward, and Kosakov just charging into space between the center backs. Ultimately setting LAFC up with their first corner of the afternoon. Whipped into the crowd, McPartland able to make the grab and cut that off. David Critchley's talked a lot about Lucas McPartland's development throughout the year. Spent some time with the St. Louis City SC first team and manager Yohan Dami in the preseason. Got a chance to spend some time learning under Roman Berkey. Critchley had said at the start of 2026 that that was his biggest takeaway from seeing McPartland once he got back into the fold with the second team, how much he's grown, not just in those physical attributes, but the mental side of the game as well. Trying to pry that ball free, St. Louis are. It will be a throw in for CITY2. LAFC looking for the quick throw off the change of possession. Evans couldn't hang on to it. But too heavy of a touch, and that is where Eric Diaz will reset things. Black and gold trying to find the switching pass. A bit short on that square ball. And Arbanahan will pull it back down. And CITY2 trying to turn this upfield. Possession-wise, LAFC, they are a team that likes to sit in on that possession. They want to enjoy the ball more than the opposition. Right now, just 48% possession to St. Louis's 52, but Fabian Sandoval, one of his biggest asks of this LAFC 2 side is when in possession today. He wants to see them be a bit more mistake-free compared to the last time they saw St. Louis. He felt like they didn't hold on to the ball as much as they could have, especially considering they had the man advantage in the second half. Lifted in, good first touch by Kosakov, spilling in front, and McPartland able to lay on it. LAFC, they've had some success finding that cutting ball back in behind that last line of defense so far of St. Louis. McPartland there to save the day. There was a collision that sent McPartland down as he went for that ball that Kosakov was trying to put in, and trainers will come on the pitch to assess the status of Lucas McPartland. 7th start of the season for the 18-year-old St. Louisan. McPartland coming up through that highly touted St. Louis City SC Academy. Spent some time in the equally as touted St. Louis Scott Gallagher Academy system as well before moving over to the St. Louis City SC organization. Already one crucial save today for Lucas McPartland as trainers continuing to check on McPartland. He jumped off his line and tried to sprawl on top of a ball that Charlie Kosakov was looking to poke toward goal. And McPartland back to his feet. Play set to resume. Well, elsewhere around the Western Conference, Minnesota United in action against Colorado Rapids. The Loons lead at 2-0 over the 2025 Western Conference champions. Houston Dynamo Dos, literally as I'm saying this, going up a goal against Portland Timbers 2 in a top 4 matchup in the Western Conference table. Portland Timbers 2, right now 4th in the West. Ball cut in across the face of goal, in front, pushed away. A massive save for Ethan Scally, denying Lorenzo Cornelius, and it stays a 1-goal game. This is a good feed in from Riley Lynch. Took an awkward carom off a defender, falling right into the possession of Cornelius, who couldn't finish. We cross over the half-hour mark elapsed, and St. Louis, their offense, continuing to ask questions. It'll be CITY2's 3rd corner of the day. And again, they go short. Carlock, the layoff, over to Alt. Now 2nd ball served in, headed towards Scally. Not a lot of power on that from Cornelius. And Scally, strong drop kick, trying to jumpstart things here. Rodriguez dragged down. This will be a whistle. Chipped forward by Evans on the restart. Deflected back to him. Kosakoff in tight space. Rodriguez. It's deflected to Terry. Cycled around to Nava. And now it's Jude Terry again. Terry looking for options to open up here. Rolls it forward now. It's Mahalik tied along the touchline. This is one of those areas where LAFC becomes so dangerous at patience in possession. So to see some of those triangles open things up passing-wise. Mahalik looking to carve that opening. He'll leave it for Jude Terry, who stands up across and behind on the turn, helped along. Mahalik across. They can't tap it in, and it falls all the way through. Well, the action's excellent for Fabian Sandoval's punch. Just whipped across the face of goal. All alone on that back stick was Kosakoff. Couldn't hack it in. Bit of an over-rotation there defensively for St. Louis, and that is what LAFC does so well when they get into their possession-oriented system. Into the path of Mahalik. Trying to take on two, now going for goal. And McPartland sees it in all the way. Degan's able to poke that ball ahead, and now forward. It's Carlock, lost his footing. And LAFC will reset things. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ford. Sebastian Nava tripped up, quickly restarted by Juliano Whitchurch. Possessed the ball this year, and why he challenges them to continue to be patient in that possession-oriented style. It helps them create those numerical advantages and overloads that they are always constantly seeking. They call it numbers up, is how he refers to it. But he doesn't want them to just keep the ball simply to keep the ball. He wants them to be dangerous, make the most of their possession. That's been a challenge for this defensive-oriented St. Louis approach today. Just one shot on target right now as we come up on 10 minutes plus added time until the halftime whistle. Pass was a bit behind Lynch, couldn't spring CITY2 free. Turned right into pressure by Carlock, and LAFC will win it back. One of the other reasons that Fabian Sandoval is insistent upon controlling the game with possession. You just see it right there, the ability to counter press. They're especially good on that counter press, that rolling counter press when they are in control of things. Still trying to battle back from that early deficit. Rolled ahead looking for Kosakoff, and instead CITY2 will steer it back to McPartland, who puts that one out of play and concedes the throw to LAFC. The find from Mahalik to Evans, who stops. Straddling that strike now is Matt Evans and connecting with Eric Diaz. Terry to Evans centrally. stops and funnels it back wide. Here is Tommy Mahalik now. Looking to muscle his way in. Gets that cross off, deflects it off a defender. It's another corner for LAFC, their second. Sebastian Nava will have the take for LAFC. Black and gold still in search of their first goal off a corner in 2026. It's Nava, floats it into traffic, knotted down in front. Kosakov couldn't put it in, and it's cleared out once more. There was a pretty sizable collision inside that penalty area. Now look at it once more. Kosakov just trying the crafty back heel, but you see right there on that near edge of the 6, 2 bodies strewn across this natural grass surface, and trainers again out. It's Patrick McDonald who is down right now for St. Louis City 2. Finally sitting back up as the trainers checking on his status, putting him through the protocol. Mahalik going over to check on Patrick McDonald. A couple former Indiana Hoosiers there. McDonald spending 2021 through 2024 in Bloomington, Indiana. McDonald is back to his feet, walking off under his own power, flanked by trainers. Meanwhile, LAFC will have the throw in. Awaiting the signal from Christian Campo to get this play back under, or this contest rather, back underway. They get that signal, tossed back in, and we do resume. You see McDonald there over on the far touchline, set to rejoin his team at the next opportunity to bring City 2 back to full strength. Right now, due to the injury, City down to 10. LAFC trying to take advantage. We come up on 5 minutes until the halftime whistle. Here's Whitchurch. Nava back over to Whitchurch. Now back to Nava. Trying to walk that one forward. Here's Diaz on the left. Drives it across goal, batted away, the net's empty, and LAFC fiddle it wide. Took a deflection. You see Mahalik there making that signal, and he'll stay on this end for a corner. McPartland, bit adventurous there, jumping off his line. Was able to bat it away, but couldn't corral that ball back in. And a real frantic moment in front of that empty goal. It sees LAFC generate their 3rd corner of the day so far. Some jockeying for positioning happening inside that 18. Christian Campo, he's seen enough. Vadahan and Mahalik, bit of hand checking there between those two. Swung in by Nava toward McPartland, who punches it away. Another whistle as Matt Evans goes down off the collision. This time it'll be a free kick for LAFC 2. Well, they haven't had much luck on corners in 2026. 0 corner goals, that continuing on each of their 3 takes from the corner. They have had some success set piece scoring in terms of free kick goals. Have one of those to their credit here in 2026. Evans sizing things up and hoping to make that 2 for LAFC 2. Three goals, 1 assist in his last 6 appearances for Evans. He plays it to Terry! Stopped straight away by McPartland. Distribution forward by McPartland, fighting through challenges there. All looking to roll it laterally. Back over to Carlock. Forces an emergency clearance from LAFC. And now a heavy collision. Terry and DeGans getting tied up, and this will be a card that sends Jude Terry into the book. Just over on that top of your screen here, both DeGans and Terry going for it. And DeGans getting more of that collision than Jude Terry. That is our first card handed out of this contest. A contest that has seen a touch of physical play. $14 fouls whistled for already in this first 45 minutes. And now our first card handed out by our center referee. McDonald, who is back on the pitch after that knock, sent him off. He will have this free kick from distance for City 2. McDonald whips this ahead, trickling forward. Coated well defensively by LAFC, trying to transition into that attack and unable to do that. Going back to what we talked about in our broadcast open about St. Louis as McPartland's distribution errant. St. Louis looking for more defensive stability today. One of the benefits of that 4-2-3-1 is on the rest defense side, it does a great job, that shape, of preventing transitional attacks, and that is where LAFC have made a lot of their money in 2026. They scored thrice in transition. Also 7 counter-attacking goals already to their credit in the young season. Trying to break out are the black and gold. Diaz diagonally over to Terry. This cross whipped in, quickly knocked down and away by City 2. Here's Alt steering through would-be tacklers and ultimately going down. We get the signal from the 4th official, and it is 4 minutes of added time at the end of this first 45. Halfway home here in Los Angeles, still 45 to come. Make sure to stick around for our halftime report. We will head to Foxborough, Massachusetts to hear a great player pathway story in MLS Next Pro. We'll take a look at the upcoming schedule, get you up to speed with some stats and highlights as well, all coming up on our halftime report. First, though, 4 additional minutes, and LAFC hoping they can find the equalizer before that halftime whistle. Matt Evans goes down. It draws another stoppage from Christian Campo. Black and gold trying to move quickly with it. They've tried that a couple times in this contest. In fact, both teams have tried to move quickly on their restarts. And Christian Campo has had to bring it back a few times and have them retake those restarts. Lifted out wide off the half volley in front, and it's in! Charlie Kosakoff on the rebound puts LAFC on level terms, 1-1. It's a good delivery on that switching pass. On the volley, Mahalik, initial save by McPartland, and a juicy rebound that Charlie Kosakoff pounces on. A count open in 2026 for Charlie Kosakoff to go along with a pair of assists. And it's new life for the black and gold. Fabian Sandoval, his biggest theme coming into this match for LAFC. Get runners in behind, force that back line of St. Louis to defend their actions in the final third. They've been able to find some numbers in behind that final line of defense. Just losing track, St. Louis do, of Charlie Kosakoff, and it's a whole new game. Carlock navigating through traffic, laid it off. The clearance forward, intercepted by Diaz. Nice move to get past one. And now out wide, here's Mahalik on the wing. Ahead into Diaz, who goes down. It's a free kick. A card in the hand of Christian Campo, as Eric Diaz lays prone on the natural grass. Jack Wagner will go into the book. Keep an eye right here on the left side of your screen. Mahalik was looking for that give back over to Eric Diaz. He and Jack Wagner getting tangled up. And it's our second card handed out. But more importantly, now St. Louis forced to defend a late set piece from LAFC. Yes, it is from a sharp angle, but black and gold ever so dangerous on their stopped play situations. They have Matt Evans and Sebastian Nava shadowing over it. Evans will back off. It's Nava. First, though, another whistle. Despite the amount of stoppages this first half has seen, there has been a lot of end-to-end action. But there have been moments when you get an abundance of those whistles, does bring things to a screeching halt. Nava solo over this ball. Try to guide this in. Nava drills it back post, and it goes sailing out. And right on cue, there is the halftime whistle from Christian Campo. We have reached the break in Los Angeles, and we are level at one. Coming up in our halftime show, we go back to the Northeast for another player pathway success story, plus highlights and stats. All that after this brief timeout.
They say the world's game is played everywhere. This is how we play it here. Every weekend across North America. From Vancouver's mountain rain to the shores of Florida. From the City of Angels to the Heartland. The world's brightest stars light up our fields.
Let's go.
and our fans bring the world to life. In every language, in every city. One game, one roar. Sold out nights under lights. New soccer citadels rising from coast to coast. Every chant, every goal, another brick in a growing relief. Now, the world's biggest stage comes to our home. And when they arrive, they'll find the game's heartbeat has been here all along.
Welcome back to Los Angeles. New England Revolution homegrown Peyton Miller is another success story in the MLS Next Pro ranks. Let's revisit his story in this feature.
A lot of upside, a huge ceiling for this young kid.
You're going to like him a lot. His name is Peyton Miller. This is great stuff again. Oh my goodness.
Force away through here. Ball to the back post, it's awkward, and it's thrust in towards goal.
From Unionville, Connecticut, to stepping on the field in Major League Soccer, Peyton Miller's journey is just getting started.
I'm from Connecticut. I grew up in Unionville. Growing up, I trained a lot with my dad. My dad is mostly the reason for where I am today. When I was like 7, I won a championship for my travel team with my dad as a coach, and I kind of just fell in love with it from there.
As Peyton began to excel as a player, he began receiving attention from multiple clubs.
I started at FSAFC, and then I wanted to excel my game a little bit more, so then I went to Oakwood. And then from there, we played teams like New England Revolution, Philadelphia Union, and then the Revs reached out, and it was my childhood dream to play for the Revs, so it was kind of an easy decision for me to make to come here.
When I arrived at the Revs as a new employee, the staff was telling me about a young man named Peyton Miller. And so right away I went and did as much research as I could, and when I watched him play one time, it was like, wow, this kid is special. Just the way he moved, the way he was working with the ball, the way he looked around naturally. I knew as well as others knew this kid had something inherently in him that we wanted to be around.
Dreams don't come without sacrifice. At just 13, Peyton had to leave his family and friends behind to pursue soccer full-time.
It was hard not being able to be with my parents and not being able to see friends, but it was the sacrifices that I had to make to live this dream. And before that, a year earlier, my parents had to drive 2 hours every single day from Connecticut to Foxborough just so that I can make training, and I'm very grateful for that.
Moving into the Academy's residency program gave Peyton access to top-level training and gave him a platform to continue growing.
And our world structure is everything, because players they're learning so much. There's academics, there's social development, there's physical development, there's goals, there's outside pressures already, there's social media. So what we need to do is we need to provide structure to allow these players to chase their dreams, but chase their dreams with guidelines and helpful. And then when they need a little something extra, we're there for them to help them navigate whatever's in front of them.
By 15, Peyton's hard work paid off. He signed a homegrown contract with the Revolution, and he made his professional debut with Revolution 2 in 2023.
It was against Atlanta. I had a couple good chances, good balls for an assist or a goal maybe. That should have happened, but I was very nervous in the beginning, but as soon as the whistle blew, it kind of just all went away, and all I could feel was just like the adrenaline rush.
Playing against older and stronger players forced Peyton to adapt quickly.
I didn't want the guys like babying me because I was young. I wanted them to tell me how it really was, and they really understood that, and like they weren't afraid to yell at me if I did something wrong, and that's what helped me get to the next level.
His performances that season with Revs 2 opened the door to an opportunity with the first team.
At the end of our season with the second team, they gave me the chance to come train with the first team, and then that A little bit previous of that, that's when I signed my homegrown contract. So that was a very big step. You know, the speed of play was crazy when I got to the first team, but I got used to it for a little bit. And then that's when the off season hit. And then that's when I really started to like train. And I came back for the preseason and I was ready for it.
Soon after came the moment he'd been dreaming of since childhood. His MLS debut at just 16 years old, making him the second youngest player in club history to make his debut.
Another interesting debut here. Obviously all the talk about Kevin Sullivan, but Hayden Miller will make his MLS debut, the 16-year-old from Unionville, Connecticut.
My parents made the trip to Philly so they could see me play. And I kind of knew before the game that like, this might be the game that I come in, because they told me that week that I'll probably get in that game. But I was nervous stepping to the line, but Caleb just said to me, like, have fun. This is what you love to do. Just go out there and be a kid. And that's what I did. I kind of, as soon as I stepped on the field, everything just went away and it was just me and the ball.
For Peyton and his family, it was a moment of pride.
They were all excited. You know, I got a lot of texts from everyone, Instagram stories, all that type of stuff. Everyone just saying that they're proud of me. It was kind of just like a full circle moment, being able to represent the badge and represent my family, my friends, and knowing that all the hard work that I put in, the sacrifices that my parents made, paid off.
4 days later, Peyton would make his full MLS debut against FC Dallas.
Okay, here's Miller. Goal. Bobby Wood! Courtesy of the 16-year-old Miller. The Revs to the lead.
Peyton hasn't just made waves at the club level. He's also become a mainstay in the U.S. youth national team setup, earning call-ups from the U15s through the U23s. He featured in all 4 matches at the 2023 FIFA Under-17 World Cup, and later represented the United States at the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup as one of the youngest players on the roster.
As a staff, when Peyton debuted with the 17s and went on, we all have these Slack channels and his pictures coming up from different players snapping the TV going, there's our friend, there's our teammate, there's our guy, and then other coaches. It was really endearing just to be together. It was because we were actually on the road for a game as an academy staff, and that was amazing. And then to see the whole transformation of where he goes and what he's done, we couldn't be more proud.
Peyton hopes his story can be a blueprint for success for the next generation of Revolution players.
It means a lot to me, you know, like to have younger kids look up to me, and some kids will come up to me and ask me like, what'd you do to get where you're at? And I'll kind of just tell them like it takes sacrifice and effort and you just have to be willing to put in the work. But there's a lot of kids that come up to me and I always tell them like, don't be afraid to come up and talk to me. Like, I was once where you're at, like don't be afraid.
MLS recently agreed to a deal that will see global investment firm KKR make a strategic investment and partner with MLS Next Pro. KKR will inject capital into MLS Next Pro with an eye on growing the league and its footprint around the continent in conjunction with Major League Soccer. The partnership will oversee commercial strategy as it looks to move the 27 MLS-affiliated Next Pro teams into new markets with an eye on building brands within those communities and even seeking stadium development deals. We will no doubt hear more about this in the coming seasons. We have reached the half in Los Angeles, California between St. Louis City and LAFC. This is not the only action, though, happening around MLS Next Pro. A plenty busy docket around match week 12 as we take a look at our recent scores. In the Western Conference, North Texas and San Jose Earthquakes just last night battling to a 2-2 stalemate. Quakes 2 ultimately getting the extra point in that penalty shootout 4-2. Natty James found the back of goal, though, for North Texas. That's significant because that moves Natty James into a tie atop the Golden Boot race, which is really heating up. And as we transition to our upcoming schedule, that very same North Texas side, led by the dynamic duo of Edward Neese and Natty James, they will be in action against St. Louis CITY2. That is St. Louis's next action in MLS Next Pro. Ventura County trying to get back in terms of the winning column after falling in El Tráfico against this LAFC side just last match week. They'll visit, or rather, they'll host Whitecaps 2 at 10 p.m. next weekend. That's all the action that was around MLS Next Pro and is to come. As for our contest, let's bring you up to speed with our first half highlights between LAFC and St. Louis City 2. A 1-1 contest through 45 minutes of play, and it was St. Louis getting started scoring-wise, but early on into the contest, it was LAFC almost breaking that scoreless deadlock. Then, as the contest would carry on, City 2, they would start to find their footing a bit more. First it was Palmer Alt, then Sidney Paris, stopped by Ethan Scally, who has 2 big saves in the opening 45. But in the 19th minute, Palmer Alt says, "What LA traffic?" navigates cleanly through it and puts St. Louis up in front. Then, though, LAFC, they'd start to find some opportunities in behind. This was Scally's second save of the afternoon, and perhaps the biggest one. But this is what I meant more of finding opportunities in behind. Just a quick little chip in behind that back line, missed across the face of goal. Then off a corner, swung in, deflected away. McPartland coming out, trying to punch that one clear. Got to it, but coughed up a juicy rebound. And then in first half stoppage time, speaking of rebounds, there's Charlie Kosakoff jumping on it and firing it past McPartland. That is where we stand through 45 minutes. 1-1, we'll head back to break. Opening kick of the second half when we return.
Boys hear cinnamon, flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still sticking ahead of them. Running on fumes and adrenaline. Do what I do best, can rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet, don't ask questions. Trying to figure out what's down, don't worry about what next. Just know what's next. Man, I say it so loud, don't worry about what next. Just know we got now, oh yes. Man, I say it oh so proud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
LAFC and St. Louis out of the halftime dressing room. They are on the pitch, and we are ready to go for half number 2 in what is an even scoreline, 1-1 through 45 minutes of play. Back inside Rollinson Stadium, along with our broadcast team, Jake Griffith. Glad to have you with us. It was St. Louis going up a goal in the 19th minute in first half stoppage time. LAFC pulling back level. Black and gold team, they have been a second half team. Both of their goals the last time they saw St. Louis coming in the second half, across the hour mark played over their last 180 minutes of football. Of their 6 goals scored in that span, 4 of them have come in the second half. Christian Campo has everyone ready to go. The whistle sounds, and St. Louis will thump that one out of play to get their defensive structure set on this throw-in. 2 subs, 1 for either team at the 45-minute break. Christian Diaz will come off. Josh Santiago on for LAFC, their first change of the day. As for St. Louis City 2, Patrick McDonald, who had gone down with injury previously in that first half but stayed in, will come off. And St. Louis City Academy man Cruz Gonzalez comes on for his professional debut. In behind, here is LAFC 2. Charlie Kosakov, who scored just prior to the break, trying to create some space, and it is knocked out for an LAFC corner. They had 3 of those, the black and gold did, in the opening 45. Didn't score on any of them. Corner count even, 3 for each team. Nava, he'll play it short into Jude Terry. Evans looking for the service, in, whistles wide, and deflects all the way through over to the near side. LAFC able to win a throw-in now. Fabian Sandoval wants this team to dictate the tenor of contests with their possession, because it allows them to be in control of things. Well, they controlled the first half possession-wise, 58%, 8 shots, 6 on target. Lucas McPartland making 5 crucial saves for St. Louis City 2. As DeGan's able to peel that ball out of a crowd. Across the end line it goes, and McPartland will have a goal kick. Cruz Gonzalez coming on at the halftime for St. Louis. LAFC fans, they might know that name because it was in the Generation Adidas Cup a season ago for the St. Louis U16s as Sidney Paris muscled down, that Cruz Gonzalez came on and fired a goal in during the GA Cup for the St. Louis City Academy against LAFC's U16 side. Gonzalez trying to make an impact in this second half, was just on the ball, 67 in white, and St. Louis trying to switch that out of play. Trying to switch it rather, and instead switches it out of play. Here's Nava on the reset. Back over to Kenneth Nielsen. There's a handful of MLS appearances under his belt. Whitchurch stepping into space, tries to hack that one forward. St. Louis turns it over. Nava wide to Rodriguez on the right. Ernesto Rodriguez in front. And there is McPartland again. Behind, St. Louis jockeying for space there. It's Riley Lynch over on the right, able to win a throw in for St. Louis City 2. Since that goal in the 19th minute, only 2 shots on target for St. Louis over the last almost 30 full minutes. Christian Campo giving a warning over to David Critchley and the St. Louis technical area again. Critchley was looking for an explanation on why City 2 couldn't restart play. City 2 back on it though. Telegraphed pass. DeGans jumps it, and a quick counter developing here for St. Louis. Into the vicinity of Palmer Alt, who had the opening goal. Takes a ricochet, and that is where Ethan Scally will collect. Scally 6 saves against St. Louis back in the March 2-2 draw. 8 total on the season when you include his 2 in the opening frame. Whitchurch turns it over. Jumping on it is Carlock. Carlock! Got a piece of it, Scally did, and it's batted out of play. Ethan Scally continuing to slam the door on St. Louis. Takes a fortuitous bounce back into the path of Evan Carlock, but denied by Scally again. This will be corner number 4 for St. Louis. Had 3 in the first half. Evan Carlock able to set that up with his effort. David Critchley a few weeks ago said he's such a hard worker, willing to sprint 30, 40 yards to get on that ball, and you see it there. CITY2, they do have a short option in to Palmer Alt. They hit him on it. Now laid off. Here's Lynch. Whipped back top of the area. Paris able to collect it. Now Paris looking for an opening. Still Sidney Paris now. Sidney Paris going for goal, but striking that wide. This portion of the match brought to you by Kaiser Permanente, the official team physicians of LAFC. David Critchley, you see this pressing shape. St. Louis pushing 4 high up. David Critchley, he had said coming into today that St. Louis were going to go with a couple different shapes, but his biggest message to the team was this coaching staff's been very clear that the last few weeks have not been up to City SC organizational standards of how St. Louis are pressing. Big emphasis on ball recoveries in the final third today. Big emphasis on having a low passes per defensive action today for St. Louis. They started the first half off with some real teeth behind that press, and now starting the second half off in a similar manner, rather. Into space, here's Evans. Paris able to come up with the takeaway. On the repress, though, LAFC dislodged that ball. And now we get a whistle. Offside flag is up. Up ahead, here's Alt on the turn, looking to connect here. The layoff from distance. It's Cruz Gonzalez, and getting a hand to it is Scally. The Missouri native off the handoff, right in that pocket, top of the 18. Trying to go short side on Ethan Scally. Up to the task again. It does result in another St. Louis corner, their second in the last 6 minutes. They've gone short on almost all of them. Now second ball served in, and Scally is there. Able to pluck that out of midair. I mentioned the phrase, passes per defensive action a few moments ago. For those that don't know PPDA, that typically corresponds to how aggressive a team's pressing posture can be. The lower number, the better for those aggressive pressing teams. And St. Louis, they come into the weekend the 12th lowest PPDA in all of MLS Next Pro. But David Critchley over there in blue, watching that ball be thrown back in. He acknowledged that it has been an organizational standard over the last few years that St. Louis, their identity, whether it's the MLS side, the Next Pro side, the Academy side, they want to be that dominant pressing team that controls the tempo of matches by utilizing that front three. Into Terry now. Terry laterally looking for Evans, and behind, given back to Rodriguez. Nava now. Ernesto Rodriguez stands up across, flashed in back stick. Errant clearance though. Nava still on it. They're bunching up inside. St. Louis just can't clear these lines right now. Nielsen stepping up. Now Kenneth Nielsen off the side netting. Things will stay on this end though. A corner building for LAFC. That is some of what Kenneth Nielsen brings from that center back spot for LAFC too. It's not just the defensive ability, which is where he's very sound, but the ability to make those center back runs into the attack, help keep the pressure on. Off the layoff, Evans flings this back post again. St. Louis is there, still live and launched from distance. Ultimately going out of play. One of the rare moments where LAFC have just tried their hand from long range. They have made a concerted effort so far in this contest to get into that penalty areas. Glancing header forward finds Alt. 7 of their 9 shots have been taken inside the St. Louis 18 throughout this contest. Elsewhere around the West, Houston Dynamo Dos, they've doubled their lead over Portland Timbers. Good switch out wide. Into Rodriguez now on the right. He'll give it up. It's Santiago. Santiago flicks this in toward goal, headed wide. Matt Evans getting underneath that one, but couldn't put it on the target. Moving forward with it, here is Cornelius seeking a whistle for what he thought was a foul. Now headed into Evans, he'll roll it behind. Kosakov, the goal scorer, has it cleared off his boots. It'll be another corner for LAFC. Already in this second half, the black and gold have had 3 corners. Meanwhile, Fabian Sandoval will utilize his second change of the afternoon. On comes Luke Goodman, the former UC Davis defender, to spell Kenneth Nielsen. Sixth appearance of the year for the first-year pro, Luke Goodman, native of Santa Barbara, California. His LAFC side will have this corner from this near side. Driven in, out wide, goes sailing over the head of Eric Diaz and falling all the way through for a Lucas McPartland goal kick. On the move now, it's LAFC. Tucked in front, trying to find Kosakov. And instead, McPartland will pick that one off again. Lynch puts it in front. Was trying to find Evan Carlock, and again turned away by LAFC. St. Louis, they've really made a point to try to dominate the wing play today. Quick whistle from our center referee, and even quicker play is back underway. Rodriguez via Santiago. Now here's Rodriguez, back to Santiago, and back to Rodriguez. Good cycle of the ball here, finding Nava into a pocket of space. Did take a deflection off the center referee, and that will draw things to a quick stoppage. It's 60% possession right now since the clock rolled over to half number 2 for LAFC. This portion of the match brought to you by Toyota. Play resumes off the drop ball from Christian Campo, back underway. An hour played St. Louis has found the back of goal, as has LAFC. It's been a scoreless stalemate in these first 15 minutes of half number 2. Good combination, linking play over to Evans, into Rodriguez now. St. Louis defending with 3. Rodriguez trying to fire it back inside. Over these last few minutes, this is the area where St. Louis have had the most trouble. Ridden down is Ernesto Rodriguez, and Cruz Gonzalez is booked. A challenge so heavy, Rodriguez lost his right boot right here in the center of your screen. Gonzalez trying to go for that ball, ends up bringing Ernesto Rodriguez down. The former Oxnard College forward. It's start number 2, appearance number 9 of 2026 today for 81 in black and gold. And it sets LAFC up with a dangerous free kick opportunity. Rodriguez backs off. Terry to the left of the ball. And now Evans, the take. Evans for goal! Just wide. It was an excellent take from Matt Evans. Just broke a little to the right at the last moment. That looked marked for the back of net. Early ball ahead from Palmer Alt. Wanted Lorenzo Cornelius, the St. Louis native. AFC pinned back deep right now. Not many options opening up forward, thanks to that press of St. Louis. Well, Cornelius. Cornelius tripped up. That will draw a whistle from our center referee. And meanwhile, LAFC will make a double change. Jude Terry and Eric Diaz will come off in their stead. Brian Moyato is on, and he is joined by Skylar Kaplan. Fifth appearance of the season for Skylar Kaplan. 7th for Brian Moyato, and it's Andrew DeGans for St. Louis to put it back into play, and we are back underway. Offside flag coming up on that long ball forward, and that will end the St. Louis opportunity. One thing David Critchley talked about in the week heading into this venue of LAFC was that idea that St. Louis, not just the importance of their press, but in their build-outs, they were going to look a little bit differently, trying to use a couple different shapes. Meanwhile, in behind, it's Kosikov. Out comes McPartland. Nava finding Moyato, cycled around. Evans played it forward over to Charlie Kosikov, who has been a real offensive catalyst, the 21-year-old today. Does have the goal. Former Washington Husky. But in addition to that, he's just created so much on the offensive side of things for LAFC. And look at his numbers. 4 chances created, 2 shots on target, 19 touches, 5 of them being in the opposition penalty area. Since half number 2 started, as Santiago will peel this to the back line over to Luke Goodman. It has been one-way traffic in this end of things. LAFC right now, 65% share of the ball in half number 2. Rodriguez. Santiago volleys it out wide. Nava looking for the give back. Santiago in front. Snatched off the line by McPartland again. For St. Louis City, too, going back to that conversation I had with David Critchley, it's in these areas when they are building out that Critchley said they were going to look a little bit different, 2 different build-out shapes. Wanted to start the contest with a back 4, but gives this team the ability on the fly, as we get a whistle for a foul, to perhaps tuck a fullback inside instead and go with the back 3 to give them some more offensive options going ahead, create some of those overloads in the central channels. Turned over, though. Rodriguez running onto it. Tries to double back over to Nava. Cornelius fighting through one challenge. Paris was able to pull that ball in on the move, but couldn't do much with it as Matt Evans will track back. It's one of the things that Fabian Sandoval loves about Matt Evans. More on that in a moment. Moyano slipped, and it develops a counter for City2 in front. Punched away, hacking for it is Alt, and ultimately guides it out. A frantic moment for LAFC as Brian Moyano went tumbling down, but they come away unscathed. Here's Wagner carrying a yellow over from that first half. Pearson trying to fight off challenges from Ernesto Rodriguez. David Critchley, a few weeks ago, he talked about the addition in the offseason of Chris Pearson. So it gives this team a bit of a different profile. He's an experienced guy, a lot of physical attributes that some of the younger players just don't possess right now due to their age. Challenge applied, sends Skylar Kaplan, rather, tumbling down. Skylar Kaplan has yet to get back to his feet. Meanwhile, St. Louis, they are readying what is just their second change of the contest. Jamone Barkley will come on, the former second-team All-American Athletic Conference pick last year collegiately at UNC Charlotte. It is Barkley's 11th appearance of 2026 in for Aditya Gabatahan. And LAFC will counter with their final change of the day. Jacob Machuca, the LA native, he will run onto the pitch. Ernesto Rodriguez, his afternoon is done. St. Louis getting 70 solid minutes out of Aditya Gabatahan in just his second start of the season. But a crucial role in that double pivot with Patrick McDonald, but they have both now subbed out. Machuca off the restart. Good first touch. Here's Moyano to Santiago. Trying to work that passing triangle here in toward this final third, LAFC are. Ultimately reset. Trying to turn on it was Mahalik, instead turned right into Sidney Paris. Paris, the former Toronto FC, Chicago Fire Academy midfielder. He's done well for himself so far today under what has been a lot of pressure applied by LAFC throughout this contest. City 2 trying to turn it upfield, looking for Palmer Alt. Kosakov thought he had Moyato behind him. Instead, it's coughed up, grabbed by Riley Lynch. Riley Lynch going back to that Austin FC contest. They worked him pretty high up the pitch the last time out for St. Louis prior to this fixture. He was isolated, just on an island. They could not work it to him enough. Didn't have an abundance of touches in that match. Now turning the corner is Palmer Alt. Dragged down, it's a whistle for a foul and a City 2 free kick in an inviting position, and it's a straight red handed out. Luke Goodman has been sent off. On the slip through, Goodman going through the back of Palmer Alt. That is a surprising decision from Christian Campo. A straight red to the second half substitute, Luke Goodman, and LAFC. A match that they've had so much momentum since first half stoppage time where they pulled level. They will now play down to 10 men for the final 17 minutes of this match. A huge swing of momentum in St. Louis's favor. Chris Pearson will have this free kick. Pearson whips it high and out. This portion of the match brought to you by Liquid IV, the official functional hydration partner of LAFC. And an appropriate one at that, considering how much running all these men have done out there today on this beautiful 75-degree day in Los Angeles, California. Been a lot of ground covered by both these teams. Yes, we've seen some physical play, but we've also seen a lot of end-to-end action. Machuca driving into the central channel. Now LAFC going forward with it, unlocking Tommy Mahalik vertically. Here's Mahalik, the layoff to Evans. Matt Evans from distance won't make its way through. Sidney Paris took that off the midsection. Paris in a lot of pain, and for good reason. Matt Evans firing a rocket right into that midsection of Sidney Paris. But play will continue on after a brief whistle. The last time these teams met, it was late match heroics. St. Louis grabbing a goal in second half stoppage time. It looked like LAFC were going to pick up their first ever win against City 2. Not to be had. They ended up sharing the points before St. Louis grabbed the extra one in the penalty shootout. They have gone to penalty shootouts 3 times in 6 prior meetings. St. Louis has won the other 3 outright. We come up on the final 15 minutes of this contest. And Pearson, oh, what a ball in behind. On the turn, Alt shuffling, still Alt had his pocket picked. Now Pearson grabbed from behind by Kosakov. Kosakov and Wagner have been going at it a few moments ago. And Christian Campo having a word with both of them, telling them enough is enough. And if you're just now joining us, it was a goal in the 19th minute from Palmer Ault, his 6th of the season. That opened the scoring for St. Louis. In 45+2, first half stoppage time, Charlie Kosakov grabbing the equalizer, and then 4 minutes ago, Luke Goodman sent off on a straight red for LAFC. And the black and gold down a man right now. Early ball in from Pearson. Was looking for Riley Lynch, instead caught the head of Kaplan. Kaplan able to poke that away from Lynch. Ultimately results in a throw-in for LAFC 2. Consecutive throws now for the home side. Well, Fabien Sandoval, his message to the team since coming over as manager, being appointed in February, third manager in club history, it has been control the controllables. Do not improvise on the fly when things aren't going our way. He said that that's been one of the key points of their success these last 3 matches that have all been wins as we get a whistle. And you see Sandoval there up off that LAFC 2 bench on the far side of things. Sidney Paris shown yellow. This is a match that has quickly become a wash in yellow, with a little dash of red in there. The Luke Goodman red card in the 72nd minute. It's already the 3rd yellow card handed out in this second 45 minutes from our center referee. LAFC will have a free kick. Black and gold have scored 4 goals in the second half these last 2 matches. Evans trying to funnel it forward, and instead it's taken away by Paris. Gonna turn it upfield was Ault, deflects back to DeGans. And here's Paris through traffic. Bodies flying all around right now. Advantage played into Ault. Well defended by Skylar Kaplan. And now Kaplan goes flying down. Here's Pearson, space to walk it forward, and does just that. Finds Barkley. Jamone Barkley, former Charlotte 49er, spent some time elsewhere in the American Athletic Conference at USF. 45 appearances for the Bulls collegiately. St. Louis able to win a throw-in. Evan Carlock able to set that up for CITY2. St. Louis, they have wanted to get wide and expansive in this second half when in the attack, especially since going up a man. But LAFC, time and again, they're trying to use those touch lines against St. Louis, pin them up against them. Sort of a zonal press and trap almost. Back on it, though, is St. Louis. Having a go from distance is Lynch. Won't make its way through it, falls back to Paris. Here's DeGans. opts to reset things. Wagner back forward. Lynch on the attack. Lynch stops. Over to Paris. Peels it back. It's Riley Lynch. Riley Lynch lifts it in. Cleared away by Moyato. Evans can't clear those lines. Now Kosakov trying to do just that, and he's unsuccessful. 9 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Sidney Paris got a piece of it. Scally able to hammer it away. Still with it is Barkley. Cut back. Cleared out of play, and St. Louis will have a corner. Relentless this St. Louis City attack is. Scally just throwing the hands up and catching a piece of it. It falls right back to Barkley, going against his opposite number 62. Consecutive corners now for St. Louis. Short option played, and it's Paris. Flings it into the crowd. LAFC, they've given up a lot of set pieces to St. Louis, especially off corners, 6 corners. But their set piece defense, it has been so strong. Still with it, though, is CITY2. Crossfield over to Paris. Nava able to dislodge that ball. He's dispossessed, though. Now Lorenzo Cornelius had it for a moment. It's given up. Cornelius goes down, and LAFC trying to transition into the attack. Machuca. Out it goes off the boots of Chris Pearson. Santiago will have the throw in for LAFC too. Josh Santiago, product of the LAFC Academy. 2 short-term call-ups during the 2025 season to that LAFC first team. Pearson pouncing on it off the throw in. Up ahead, Jamone Barkley. Barkley still carrying it along. Picks out Cornelius. Directing traffic is Lorenzo Cornelius. Alt, try to go lateral. Instead, Alt runs onto it and curls it wide. You can hear David Critchley from over on those St. Louis City touchlines shouting to his team, go again, go again. Since bringing Jamone Barkley in, it has added a level of dynamicness to this St. Louis attack. That idea of getting those overlapping runs going, trying to get LAFC's wingers in one-on-one situations and expose some of that spacing in between the fullback and the midfield. Barkley is a guy that, as they steer it back to McPartland, he has started 6 matches this year, and in those 6 matches, we've seen a lot of similar actions in the final third for St. Louis. That ability to create those overloads and advantages. Defender got the lines wrong. On it is Riley Lynch for a moment. And LAFC, under duress, just has to put it out of play. CITY2 wasting no time. It's thrown into Barkley. Barkley has a hit from distance, and Scally sees it in all the way. Evans impeded. This will be a booking. Sidney Paris shown a yellow, and if that is on Paris, it's his second, and he's been sent off. 2 red cards have come out in the second 45 minutes. First, it was Luke Goodman for LAFC. Now it's Sidney Paris on a second yellow. 10 men apiece. This is what results in Paris getting sent off for an early shower. Machuca on the move, connecting with Matt Evans. Evans. Both teams have had a man sent off. Even strength right now, 10 aside. Mahalik contorting around that final defender. To Kaplan. Over to Nava. Finds Moyato. Back to Nava. Now in front, it's Evans. Sidesteps one. Evans knocked off the ball. Not clear yet. DeGan's trying to find some support. And finally, St. Louis do go forward with it. No foul given. Countering is LAFC and canceled out by CITY2 defensively. Up ahead, into space on the underlap, it's Barkley. Back to Jamone Barkley. Lynch inside, DeGans. Back over to Riley Lynch on his right. Lynch goes across the 18. Late arriving run, it's Lorenzo Cornelius, stopped by Scally again. Ethan Scally, the player of the game right now for either team. Time and again, turning in save after save. He's made 6 on the day. And that one, none more important than that save for Ethan Scally. Keeping it 1-1. Nava tripped up from behind by Palmer Alt. They exchanged some words. And it will be a free kick for LAFC. Kaplan will carry it ahead. Has it taken away by his opposite 83 in Lorenzo Cornelius. Kaplan commits the foul, and Skylar Kaplan ushered forward by Christian Campo and handed a yellow card. Skylar Kaplan has been booked, and now St. Louis will make another change. Kobe Hamler, the 18-year-old out of the St. Louis City Academy, will come on and make his professional debut. Off comes Lorenzo Cornelius, who turned in 88 impressive minutes in his first start of the campaign. David Critchley called it a big opportunity for Lorenzo Cornelius, and he answered the bell. Now here comes St. Louis. Barkley going for goal, and sliding in at the last minute is Whitchurch, able to knock it away. Fabian Sandoval this week, he called Giuliano Whitchurch a defender. He does a great job, but he also finds solutions. He's tough and smart, and he gets stuck in. Arguably a match-saving tackle there to knock that ball out of play. They go short again on the corner. Alt gives it up. Wagner back across. DeGans forward. Lynch whips this in with pace. DeGans helps it back along into a crowd and headed out of play by LAFC. CITY2 will have another corner. They'll defer to Palmer Alt once more. Whipped in. Quickly knocked away by LAFC 2. DeGans, they'll hand it off. They try to serve that second ball in. Not a good one. Officially 4 minutes of stoppage time, according to the fourth official. Plenty of time for one of these teams to find that would-be winner. Offside flag did come up. St. Louis restarting things quickly. Here's Cruz Gonzalez looking for the give and go. Back to Gonzalez. He and Kobe Hamler, the two academy products, trying to connect there on that outside. Unsuccessful, and Ethan Scally will have a goal clearance. Advantage played here for City 2. Trying to muscle Santiago off that ball. It's quickly tossed back in. One of the 4 allotted for stoppage time down. Here's Lynch, hits this, back stick, falls all the way through. City 2 able to keep that in, tight along that far touchline. Here's Hamler. Hamler, 64 in white. An attacking midfielder out of that academy. They're hoping David Critchley, that they can bring him on late. He can provide a lot of that pace he brings to the St. Louis City Academy. Carlock on the underlap, he'll get it back. Carlock cuts it in front. It's cleared away again. Hacked back down by City 2. They do run out of room, though, on that far touchline. Just 1 minute remaining until we get that full-time whistle from Christian Campo. LAFC will have a throw. They are the team who scored the most recently, did so in first half stoppage time, trying to make it one in second half stoppage time. Early ball in behind. This from distance, it's Machuca, and it's pushed out of play. Almost, but not quite for the LA native. And the black and gold will have a corner. Machuca getting in behind that back line. Transition is the name of the game for LAFC. And they almost burned St. Louis in transition. They go short on the corner. Nava whips this out wide. Machuca will track it down. Moyato was trying to give it back over to Kaplan inside. City were looking to break out. Instead, it's whipped out wide over to Mahalik. Christian Campo checks the watch, and City 2 won't get the throw in. There it is, the full-time whistle. We have reached the end of regulation, and no winner to be found through 90 minutes and then some. That means we are heading to a penalty shootout in Los Angeles. 1-1 at the end of regulation.
and adrenaline. Do what I do best. Can't rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions. Trying to figure out what's down. Don't worry about what next. Just know what's next. Man, I say it so loud. Don't worry about what next. Just know we got now. Oh yes. Man, I say it oh so proud. Don't worry about what next. Just know we got now.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Back in Los Angeles, we head to a penalty shootout, but first, let's get you caught up on how we got to said shootout. In the 19th minute, it was Palmer Alt weaving, dashing in toward goal. That made it 1-0. First half stoppage time, LAFC would strike and find the equalizer from Charlie Kosakoff, and that is where we stand at the end of 90 minutes. Back inside Rawlinson Stadium along with our broadcast team. Jake Griffith, glad to have you with us. And this will be the second time in as many matchups that St. Louis City 2 and LAFC 2 have gone to a penalty shootout. The last time St. Louis got the better of the black and gold 4-3 in the penalty shootout. St. Louis this season, of their 3 shootouts they've gone to, they've won 2 of them. LAFC, they have won 1 of their 3 shootouts. It is unbeaten in 4 matches for LAFC. The win streak is over. They have never won 4 matches in a row in club history. That will continue. However, a chance to finish this on a high note and keep an extra point here in Los Angeles. LAFC currently in the midst of a stretch where they will will play 8 of their 9 matches at home in Rawlinson Stadium. It'll be Evans to start us off. Evans scores. Matt Evans, a dynamic goal scorer in the run of play this season. 4 goals, 3 assists, no nonsense on that take to start things off on the front foot for LAFC. And now St. Louis looking for the answer on their first penalty take. It will be Chris Pearson to start things off for St. Louis City 2. Pearson, former Las Vegas Lightsman of USL Championship, spent some time on a loan with Huntsville City, Columbus Crew back in 2024. Pearson stutters and scores. He's perfect from the penalty spot in his career during regulation. And you see why. Some of those instincts charging forward, able to fool the young Ethan Scally, who during those 90 minutes of play had such an impressive performance for LAFC 2. Now it's Tommy Mahalik. A couple of heavy hitters back-to-back for LAFC from the penalty spot. First Evans, now Mahalik rolls it in. Mahalik bagged a brace the last time he saw St. Louis City 2 in March, and now grabs a penalty goal here in this shootout. So far, despite both netminders during the 90 minutes making a flurry of impressive saves, we have not seen the keepers come up big yet in this penalty shootout. Palmer Alt, who had the opening goal in the 19th minute, trying to even things up on St. Louis's second try. Oh, 36th pick in the Super Draft. Scores. It's been quick takes from the penalty spot so far for both teams. And both sides are 2 for 2 through the opening 2 rounds. As a reminder, if they go to the end of the opening 5 rounds level, we would head to a sudden death situation. This is Sebastian Nava. Had a goal last match against Ventura County. Nava runs up and buries it high on McPartland. The 18-year-old had guessed the right side of the net, but just not enough. So much pace behind that ball, going high on the St. Louis native. Jamon Barkley now. 5 goal contributions on the season for the Jamaican. Has 3 goals of his own in 2026. We're gonna strike this with the left boot and level things at 3. Barkley stutters, stops, and scores. Pearson and Barkley, they've been able to use that stutter step at the last second to their advantage. It's on to Jacob Machuca now, who came on in the second half to make his 11th appearance. Former rising star of the match week 5 earlier this year in MLS Next Pro. Machuca scores. LAFC, they haven't missed a beat. 4 for 4 on their first 4 penalty takers. That time going short side on Lucas McPartland. Now it's Andrew DeGans, the wing back. Brought over in March of this year. Former Oregon State Beaver. An old Pac-12 rival of USC. DeGans stutters again, and he has success by scoring. Just a quick hesitation there. Strikes it finally with that left boot to bury things. Now Charlie Kosakoff. Kosakoff had the goal in first half stoppage time that ultimately sent this contest to a penalty shootout. Nine goals for Ballard in his USL2 career at the pre-professional level. Kosakoff, he scores, and it's 5 for 5 for LAFC. Charging up onto that ball and just rolling it low, taking no chances. Evan Carlock, the 17-year-old from Wisconsin, makes the long walk up to the penalty spot. He will face off against a fellow 17-year-old in Ethan Scally. Carlock must score to keep this shootout going. Evan Carlock does just that, and we will head to the sudden death round. The short run up, top netting. Cool as you like for the City Academy man, Evan Carlock. There is Skylar Kaplan. Kaplan, a product of the LAFC Academy. Prior to that, played in the LA Galaxy Academy. Made his 5th appearance today by subbing on in the second half. Squares off with Lucas McPartland. Here's Kaplan. Scores. A little shimmy at the start of it. Was hoping to fool McPartland. Again, McPartland guessed right. That's about the 3rd time McPartland has guessed right in this shootout, but just been unable to get a paw to one of those balls. St. Louis back in a spot they were just in before Evan Carlock scored. They must score to keep this penalty shootout going. It's Jack Wagner returning to St. Louis City 2 in 2026. Wagner goes off the bar and in. A real hold your breath moment for Jack Wagner. You see the smirk on his face at the end of it. Tucks it inside by inches and sends us to a 7th round of the penalty shootout. All the other contests around the Western Conference have gone final except this one. Here is Moyato, buries it. McPartland didn't know about it. And LAFC a perfect 7 for 7. Just fired in by 66 in black and gold. The former MLS Next MVP for the LAFC Academy. Here is Riley Lynch. 7 appearances a season ago for Town FC, now known as San Jose Earthquakes 2. Had some great battles with the black and gold in a Quakes 2 uniform. Lynch runs up, it's stopped by Scally! When they needed it most, Ethan Scally, the match-saving stop in the shootout. Guessing right low on Riley Lynch. And LAFC will take 2 points off of City 2. For good reason, today's man of the match presented by Adidas. Well, it's 41 in black and gold. Ethan Scally. Time and again, save after save. 6 of them during regulation. The match-winning save in the penalty shootout. Also had 12 ball recoveries, 3 catches. Just doing it all. Cut off crosses. Was able to see things in, parry balls aside. Ethan Scally helping backstop LAFC to 2 points of a possible 3 on this Sunday afternoon against St. Louis City 2. Ethan Scally, just such an impressive prospect for LAFC. His manager Fabian Sandoval says he becomes more confident each match week that he plays, and that confidence oozing out of the 17-year-old. It is all over inside Rollinson Stadium after a spirited 7-round penalty shootout. LAFC takes the extra point, 7-6 after a 1-1 draw. For our broadcast team, I'm Jake Griffith. Once again, our final score, 1-1. Through 90, LAFC gets the extra point. Don't forget you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com. And One Football, good afternoon from LA.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.